All right, well, another week's come and gone here, and last weekend went four-wheeling in the snow with some friends, and as you can see here on the dash, just pulled up and parked. But so when you push the traction control button and you just get that traction control disabled, that's kind of like partially disabled, right? So when you're four-wheeling and you go into four low, it's the same thing as pushing and holding here on the traction control button. And it takes a second here. It's like 5 seconds. Oh, I have to be in four-wheel drive. That would explain why it's not working. So, there we go. Four-wheel drive. Now push and hold. So, electronic stability control off, or ESC off. When you go into low range, which we will do, the RPMs climb as well. So, and everything's, 4-to-1 transfer case on the Rubicon. In deep snow, very common problem, it will not fully disengage the electronic stability control. This is a 2015 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon, for those of you that did not know that. So there is a trick down here. I believe it's along this shifter, or it's somewhere in this. There is an accelerometer, and we are going to do a modification to that to interrupt it. And we are going to be using a Ulincos switch picked up on Amazon for like $8. It's a momentary push button switch. It has normally closed, which is this wire, normally open. I've already multimetered this out, and I cut it because I'm not going to use that one. Your common, so the white and the green are actually going to continue that circuit onto the accelerometer, and the little red LED ring, which I think we'll go ahead and hook up. The cup holder on this Jeep has illumination in it based off of the headlight dimmer. Since this is a manual, there's no cluster here that has lights on it. So I'm going to start figuring out how to get into the center console. It should be pretty simple. I think there's like one bolt to remove inside here. And yeah, so more to come here as I get this rolling. We'll kind of document the process and see what happens. Alright, we got the center console split apart here. It's actually a lot easier on the 2015 than I thought. It literally just pulls up for this section here. To get the four-wheel drive knob off, you just kind of wiggle and pull up, and it's a tremendous amount of force. It makes you feel like you're going to break it, but you're not going to break it. And you're looking for this wiring harness in here, and when you unfold the harness and you kind of undo this sheathing that's here, the two wires in question are right here on top. There's purple with a light blue and purple with a dark blue, and you want to cut the purple with the light blue stripe, and they are very close in color, and this is very much a pain in the ass to get in here. So you can see I got my finger on them here. The one closest to my thumb has got the dark blue. This other one has the light blue. And I'm going to double check this, but I am fairly confident it's this wire right here that will disable this. Okay, I decided to pull the upper shifter out for the manual transmission since it was in the way. And I can't get in here with the wire nippers. So I'm hoping that this is focused and you can see. So dark blue, light blue. It is indeed the purple with the light blue stripe. So I'm actually going to cut that and make sure that I get the wires indicated on the dash, or the color or warnings indicated on the dash that I think I'm going to get. So let's snip that wire. And actually I need to make sure I've got enough in the harness here that I can work with it and not be too much of a pain. I'd like it to be kind of in the middle of the harness in case I ever wanted to undo this and just splice it back together like it never happened. So, just to make sure again, light blue and dark blue. So, here we are, light blue. we go. Light blue is cut. Let's turn the key on and see what happens. Good so far. And I've got the warnings that I expected to have on. The Jeep's in gear. Let's go ahead and start it up. Parking brakes on. Okay. Now my ABS light is on because it's disabled. The wire's cut. Both traction control lights are on solid, even though the switch does nothing down here. So we're going to shut this down and get this switch wired in. I've made my pigtail a little longer. In this particular case, it does not matter which color I hook up to what, because we're just completing the circuit on normally closed. And I'll show you here after I strip this out that it's normally closed on the multimeter. Alright, this might be a little difficult to show one-handed because I'm recording with the GoPro. So I'm hooked into the normally closed contact. Let me set this down for a second. Whoops, dropped one of my leads. There we go. So, I'm wired into normally closed, and it's beeping because the circuit is closed. See if I can hold this with one hand. And then when you push the button, it temporarily opens, which would thus disengage the entire electronic stability control, brake lock differential, everything. So now let's get it spliced in, and we got to drill a hole in the console laying out here on the ground. Alright, as you can see, we got our hole drilled. I think for right now, I don't know that I really want to hack into that other harness because I didn't realize how sealed it was for the illumination. So I think I'm going to skip that for now. I might just electrical tape all this up. Well, I'll think about it. I'm going to dig around in here and see if this is easier to get into or not. Alright, upon further review, I determined that it's way too difficult to split this harness, so I'm not going to. So we'll get this buttoned up and we'll do a demo. Okay, we're back in the Jeep here. A little bit of time's gone by. Got everything buttoned up. Got all the knobs put back on. You can see the switch right there. So let's see what happens. Hopefully we don't set off $6,000 worth of airbags. All right. So cruising along. Traction control disengage still works from the button push. I don't think you can turn off. You have to be in four-wheel drive for that, I'm almost positive. Yeah, you do. Okay, so run another little experiment here. Pop it into 4. Push and hold. Let's make sure that the stock button still works. Yep. Alright, electronic stability control off. We'll go ahead and turn everything back on. Disengage four-wheel drive. So now, cruising along, we're getting stuck. We'll push the little fun mode button here. There we go. ABS lights on, systems disengaged, traction control lights disabled. So I'm assuming that means that everything is disabled. Yep, the factory button no longer has any function at all. So I do believe we've got it working, and in order to make it reset, we have to cycle the key. So there we go. That works based on some other YouTube videos and things that I've seen. Time to drive home and make sure this thing doesn't act really weird. I don't believe it will.